Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This week's video might be a little bit shorter. But this week I am going to do my current Big Brother season 24 rankings. I did my preseason rankings just before the season started. But my preseason rankings and my current rankings since the show has started has definitely changed completely. When I did my preseason rankings just based off the cast vibes, I feel like the people that were at the bottom of my list for preseason rankings are now at the top now that the show has started. Like Kyle, he was at the bottom. This time he's sort of in the middle to top part of the rankings. When during preseason he was literally dead last. And then Jasmine. She was one of my top 3, I think. Top 5? Top 3? I think it was top 3. But she's now towards the middle to the end of my rankings. And you'll find out why in a few minutes. But, unfortunately, I do only really like, well, I wouldn't say like, but love just 3 house guests. Which is pretty strange. Because when I watch Big Brother in past years, there would always be, I would either always love only like half the house or I would love the entire house. This time I literally don't really like half of the house. I only really love 3 house guests and I wouldn't mind, and I'd be more than happy if they won. There are some that I wouldn't mind if they won, but there are also a few people that I would be like, yeah, no, I do not want them to win. That would not be okay with me. I will be happy for them though, because like they're human. It's their dream to be on the show, so I mean I'd be happy for either one of them that wins, but the first 3 I will definitely say I want them to win the most. They win it, I will be head over heels happy. Then there are, like I said, there are some other people that I like them, but I don't love them. I like them, so if they win, I'd be pretty happy. But then there are also a few people that if they won, I would not be okay with it. Again, I'd be happy for them, but I would not be okay with it as a fan. And it's not because of their gameplay either. It's because of how they're treating one of the house guests, which I will get into in a few minutes. So, and the house guest I'm talking about is Taylor. So Taylor, also I want to give a shout out to my amazing boyfriend Isaac, by the way. I never said that yet, but yeah, I love you, I miss you. But one of the house guests, Taylor, she was at the top of my list for my preseason rankings, and I knew right from the moment the cast was released, she would be one of my top favorites. Just based off her vibe, I love her. And now that the game has started, I still love her. She's still like my top favorite, literally my top favorite. And I think a lot of people's top favorite as well. I like every time I log on to Twitter, they're like, we stand Taylor, like Taylor's a queen and all this stuff. Taylor's definitely the most loved house guest this season, and not Taylor and Michael. Those 2 are the top 2 house guests this season, and I feel like Twitter loves them more, and then the rest of the house is just dead to them, pretty much, based on the tweets I've been seeing. I have heard of some nice comments toward Jasmine and Paloma and a bunch of other people, but Taylor and Michael, the love they get on Twitter is just amazing. And they're definitely, I'd say, like at the end of Big Brother every year, they have a thing called America's Favorite House Guests, where America vote for, it's self-explanatory, they vote for their favorite house guests. So just alone, based on the tweets I've been seeing and the posts I'm seeing on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff, I won't be surprised if Taylor and Michael, one of those 2, win America's Favorite House Guest this year. I'd literally be so shocked, my jaw will be on the freaking floor if anybody but them won America's Favorite House Guest this year. But anyway, I'm just going to jump right into it. There are a couple things I wanted to say about Taylor specifically. And I'm sure, like, I've seen tweets about this too, like the Twitter everyone on Twitter, they agree. So, like, every time I see a tweet about Taylor, they're like, they don't like how Taylor's being treated in the house. Neither do I. Literally, if you guys, there are going to be a couple spoilers, so if you guys are planning on watching the show at any time soon, just click this video off if you don't want any spoilers. But on one of the first episodes of the season, I think it was the move-in episode, the premiere, Taylor walked in. And now Taylor's black. I love her, but she's also black, which that's not a bad thing at all. I'm saying, but she's black, but that's only because that's why she's being treated the way she is. That's not me saying it's a bad thing, because it's definitely not. But anyways, Taylor's a great person. She's black, love her, such a queen, and she's definitely at the top of my list for sure. Always was. But anyway, that's why she's being treated the way she is. I feel like it. I'm sure the house doesn't realize it, but when, like, okay. The people in the house, they see things differently than the people watching the show. So, the people in the house, it's hard to explain, but like, the fans are watching the live feeds, they're watching the show, they see how Taylor's being treated, but I'm sure that the house doesn't even realize how badly Taylor's being treated. But oh my god, this is so hard to explain. I'm sorry, guys, but Taylor, in the Movement episode on the premiere, she walked in and she announced that she was in pageants. And instantly, Paloma was like, she shouldn't have said she was a pageant girl, like a black pageant girl. She's gonna have a target on her back from that moment. Like, no, I'm sorry, I get so like passionate over this, but like, and then she also, it was her and by her I mean Paloma and Alyssa were in the room talking one time. I saw the video, it was on Twitter, and it was on YouTube too. If you guys want to watch it, go ahead. But Alyssa and Paloma were in a room talking, and instead of calling Taylor by her real name, Paloma refers to Taylor as pageant girl, saying stuff like, we gotta get pageant girl out, or something like that. And that just irks me. Like, why not use her real name? Like, she's more than just a pageant girl. Use her real name. She's a freaking human. I get so passionate over this. I'm sorry, but yeah, Taylor is just being treated very unfairly. I mean, I looked at Twitter earlier today and I saw Nicole was having a meltdown earlier today on the live feeds. I'm not American, and I think you have to pay for the live feeds in Canada, I think. So I never saw it all go down on live feeds, because again, I don't watch live feeds. I just go by what videos are posted on Twitter and YouTube from the live feeds, and of course the actual show. But I saw a video on Twitter today about how Nicole was having a breakdown, saying she was a disgusting, horrible person. And then Daniel was with her, and Daniel and Nicole were talking, and Daniel was comforting her, and saying how Taylor's not a good person. Yet here's Taylor literally at the exact same time in a different room saying to Monty, I'm not a religious person, but I want to pray for Nicole's well-being. And then Daniel and Nicole has the nerve pretty much to say that Taylor's not a good person. Yet here's Taylor again in a separate room talking to Monty and saying, I'm not a religious person, but I want to pray for her. And then they say that she's not a good person. She definitely is. If she's not religious yet she wants to pray for someone's well-being, that proves that she is a great person. And I haven't even met her in my life. I would love to, because she seems super sweet. But like, they're saying Taylor's not a good person, yet again here she is saying she's not religious but she wants to pray for this person. Like, if that doesn't scream like a total sweetheart, I do not know what does. Like, I seriously don't. Like, she really doesn't deserve anything bad that is being said about her in the house. I'm sure the house doesn't realize how bad she's being treated. I'm sure they're just thinking, oh, it's a game. Game feelings are different than personal feelings. Yet, it's not game when you're referring to someone as pageant girl. That's not game. That's literally just refusing to say someone's name. And it's not game saying that this person is a terrible person. You could say she's playing a terrible game, yes, because it's literally a game. But saying she's a terrible person, that's not game. Again, you could say she's playing a terrible game, but don't say she's a terrible person. Like, that's not game, that's actually personal. I mean, I still like Daniel. He was one of my top favorites on my preseason rankings, but I still like him, just not as much as I did preseason and the first couple episodes in. So that's all I wanted to say about Taylor. I feel like she's being treated very unfairly, and she just deserves better. So, anyways, I'm just going to jump into my prediction, or not my predictions, that's next week, SummerSlam predictions. But yeah, I'm going to jump into my current Big Brother 24 rankings. The first three I will say I love, and then numbers 4 to 13 I will say I like, and then the last three I wouldn't want them to win. So yeah, I feel like the first one definitely won't surprise anybody, because again, I already said in this video she's a queen and I love her. And the last one I don't think will surprise a lot of people either, because I did talk about her and how she called Taylor pageant girl earlier in the video. So, rankings, how it goes is 1 and is like my top favorite, love her or him. And then number 16, because there's 16 house guests, so the 16th person, it literally goes from highest to lowest, my favorite to least favorite. So first one on my list is Taylor. I mean, you guys, based on what I've been saying, I literally went on a whole 10-minute rant talking about how unfairly she's being treated and how much of a queen and a boss she is. You guys, I'm sure you guys aren't surprised. She's my number one. I want her to win the most out of anybody. Yet the other two that I'm about to mention, I would love for them to win as well if Taylor don't win. Number 2 is Turner. Now Turner, I've seen the tweets on Twitter. Twitter don't like Turner. Facebook doesn't like Turner. But I love Turner. He's one of my favorites, always has been. Unless he says something really, really bad that has nothing to do with the game. Right now, he's one of my current favorites, and I would love for him to win if Taylor doesn't win. So, number 3 is Michael. Another one, Taylor and Michael are definitely, like I said, the two most popular house guests this year. Twitter loves them. Plus, Michael, I found out tonight that he won the first 3 veto comps. There's only been 3 veto comps this year so far. He won all 3 of them, literally. A literal king, honestly. How many people on Big Brother can say they've won the first 3 veto comps of the year? Not many. So to say that is like a huge accomplishment. That's amazing. Number 4 is Brittany. I wasn't a big fan of Brittany's at first when she started. I don't like saying this because every time I hear this alliance name in the show, it just irks me. The Girls Alliance. I don't like that alliance. I don't like the name. It's just something about it. But Brittany was a part of that alliance, and because she was a part of that alliance, and like talking about Taylor, I didn't like her at that time, but then she started sort of sticking up for Taylor and saying how she disagrees with how she's being treated. Then I started liking her a lot more. And so now she's at number 4. I do really like Brittany. I would be pretty happy if she won, so she's at number 4. Number 5, he was just evicted. The show hasn't started yet. His eviction show hasn't started yet. That's Sunday, literally tomorrow. But it's Pooch. He was evicted this week. Again, the show hasn't aired yet. But from what I'm hearing, he was evicted this week. But yeah, Pooch. Loved Pooch. Loved loved him at the beginning of the season, but I still really like him, just not as much. Number 6, this guy was at the very bottom of my preseason rankings, but now he's number 6. It's Kyle. I really like Kyle. I find he's super cool, very funny based on the videos I've seen and the episodes I've seen that he was in. Love Kyle. Number 7 is Joseph. Number 8 is Terrence. Number 9 is Daniel. Daniel, I really loved his vibes at the preseason, but then that whole moment I saw with him and Nicole today saying how Taylor's not a good person. Again, like I said, you could say she's not a good player at the game, but don't say she's not a good person, because that's just not game. That's pretty much talking personally about someone, not how they're playing the game. So Daniel was at the top of my list until then, and now he's bumped down to number 9. So I still like him. I still won't be mad if he won, but that moment of him saying Taylor's not a good person, like that just I don't like him as much as I did earlier in the season. I still like him, just not as much. So, and again, I will be very happy if he won, just not as much as I would if Taylor and Turner and Brittany and Michael and a bunch of other people would. Number 10 is Jasmine. This one really saddens me because preseason I loved her vibe. Like, she seemed like such a fun person. I love her accent, though, by the way. That's one thing I will always say. I love her accent. She has a country accent. I'm obsessed with it. I've seen people on Twitter and Facebook, though, saying how it's annoying, but I personally, I love it. So, but yeah. This one, like I said, saddens me a little bit because I think she was in the top 3 of my preseason rankings, and then when I saw her get into the Girls Alliance, pretty much bashing Taylor along with Alyssa and Paloma, I was like, no, girl, why are you doing this? You're supposed to be one of my favorites. But yeah, she's number 10 now. Number 11 is Nicole. Number 12 is Indy. Nothing wrong with Indy. I don't know. I just feel like she doesn't stand out as much to me. Yeah. I do like Indy. She hasn't done anything for me to not like her. But yeah, I just feel like she doesn't stand out to me as much as some of the other house guests do. Number 13 is Monty. Same reason. He hasn't really done anything for me to dislike him as a player in the game, but I just feel like he hasn't, just like Indy, he just hasn't stood out to me as much as some of the other house guests have. And the final 3. Again, I like them as people. I don't know what they're like as people, though, but as players, I feel like they're like, I'll just say this, they're my least favorite players this season, and I don't want them to win. One of them was already evicted, so there's no chance of, well, she's self-evicted due to personal reasons, so I'm praying for her anyway. But the other 2, 14 and 15, I just don't like them as players. I like them so far as people, because they haven't really done anything at all. I don't know what they're like as people, really, but number 14 and 15, I just don't want to see them win. Again, I'll be happy if they did, but I just don't want to see it. I wouldn't be happy as a fan. I'd just be happy for them as people, if that makes sense. But 14 is Amira. 15 is Alyssa, and as you guys might be able to guess, 16 is Paloma. She self-evicted first. Due to personal reasons. If you saw that episode she self-evicted in, you would know. I'm not going to say it out on social media, because it's a pretty heavy topic, really. But yeah, I'm praying for her. Again, she wasn't my favorite house guest. She was literally my least favorite house guest this year. But I mean, mental health is number 1, and personal life and Big Brother life is completely different things. You can dislike them as players, but outside of the house, they're just regular human beings, just like us. And like I said, mental health is number 1. So I'm praying for her. I'm praying for her well-being. I hope she's doing good. But yeah, Paloma's number 16. But anyways, those are all of my rankings. This video was definitely a lot longer than I thought it'd be. Like I said, I started this the beginning of this video, I said this video would be pretty short. But I mean, I did go on a 10-minute rant about how unfairly Taylor's being treated. So I mean, what can you do? I'm passionate about it. I think that Taylor deserves better. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this week's video, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to see more content from me. And I will see you guys next week for my SummerSlam 2022 predictions. Bye, guys.